guys, as promised, we are doing part 2 of Top 20 Thomas and Friends episodes. So let's go, go, go. I've been waiting for this. Let's go. Part 2, here we go.
Number 10.
All right.
Ghost Train.
Yeah!
I realize that
I love this one.
Legendary fan favorite of the Thomas series.
Oh, yeah.
But I can tell you now that this was one of the many Thomas episodes before season 5 that terrified me as a kid. And you can understand why. Every time I would watch my Percy's Ghostly Trick tape and the Thomas anthem was over, I knew what was coming next. Just the beginning alone had me already scared between the music and the spooky ghost train scene. And things only got more intense with the infamous ending. Apart from Thomas's face that also scared the ever-living hell out of me. It was these elements that had me ducking behind the couch every single time. Hell, there were even times where I couldn't even sleep at night. But nowadays, whenever this episode comes on, I just get so giddy and excited whenever it comes up. I now love that kind of suspenseful stuff. The music is really entertaining to listen to, and the sets are... wow. Everything about this episode is just amazing. It has definitely earned its keep as a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah. What's the next one?
Number 9. Heroes.
Oh?
To me, I feel like this episode really brought out the best in Bill and Ben.
I have to agree. I mean, this one, I'm not really a fan of Bill and Ben because of just, I prefer Donald and Douglas to Bill and Ben, but I have to say this is probably one of my favorite Bill and Ben episodes.
From the time they were first introduced to where they are now, we've always known them as these cheeky little devils who love to cause mischief for the other engines.
Well, obviously.
But what about in emergencies? Would we ever see them actually be serious for once?
And that's actually true. Bill and Ben, let's look at the series. Bill and Ben were never serious when it came to the Thomas and Friends series. They never were serious. They always wanted to play pranks. So.
Well, yes. The episode towards the end really does put their bravery to the test, and they passed with flying.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because in Thomas and Friends, the CGI one, what's it called? Give me a minute. Tale of the Brave, I think it's called. I think it's called Tale of the Brave, if I remember correctly. Bill and Ben did save Thomas from a rock slide, pushing him out of the clay pits in the CGI series, so can't complain.
Colors.
Oh, all right.
That's some pretty interesting character development for the twins.
Oh, yeah.
I wish we would have gotten more episodes like that in CGI, but I'm not complaining too much. Overall, I think this is a very well-written Bill and Ben
Didn't I just say they... okay.
story that will always be a favorite of mine to watch. Number 8. All at Sea.
Oh!
Where do I even begin with this amazing episode? It's so relaxing and so relatable as hell. Of course, in Duck's perspective. I'm sure there are lots of us out there that have big dreams that we'd like to accomplish in life. And that's why I think this episode really should relate to a lot of us. I really do like the dynamic between Percy and Duck in this one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Duck's just kind of laid back, having his dreams and thought, and then there's Percy, who'd really just rather be an engine more than anything.
Well, yeah.
Which I can kind of see where he's coming from. Really wish we could get more episodes like that with these two. The music, once again, is very soothing to listen to, and I just love some of these shots with Duck. I will never, ever forget about this episode for as long as I live. And before I say my next episode, tell me, am I not the only one who gets happy goosebumps whenever I hear this line?
Duck still wonders about the lands beyond the horizon, but I think he knows that sometimes the best travels are those we can only dream about. Don't you?
Oh, my heart! My heart!
Number 7.
I love that.
Brake Van.
Yeah!
Remember how I said Love Me Tender was Donald and Douglas at their finest?
Yeah!
Well, this episode is no exception.
Well,
And once again, it does not disappoint,
Again, Donald and Douglas, my favorite twins.
especially with these two. Both of these devilishly clever Scotties are savage in this one. From Donald putting the breakdown in his place, and Douglas, well, killing him practically. They obviously take no shit from anybody.
No,
and
they don't.
I have massive amounts of respect for them. Not for nothing, but I really love the way George Carlin does their voices.
You're a muckle nuisance. It's to leave you behind I be wanting. Anyone would think that Donald had had his accident on purpose. I hear tell about an engine and some tar wagons.
By far, they are definitely some of my favorite voices that George
I
has
love
ever
those
done.
ones.
This is another really well-written episode with
I guess what I also like about Donald and Douglas is how they were able to sneak. I can't remember. Was it Douglas who snuck on, or was it Donald? I can't remember. I remember Sir Topham Hatt wanted one of them, and the other brother snuck on. And from what I remember, that's how they both ended up on the island, because the other brother that wasn't supposed to go with them was going to be scrapped. And yeah, you know the story. So that's another thing I like about the twins, is how one brother was able to sneak his other brother onto the ship. And yeah.
everyone's two favorite Scottish twins.
And their theme song is brilliant.
Number 6.
All right.
Henry's Forest.
Ah!
Okay. I understand that this has become a very controversial episode, all because of one specific person and his opinions. Look, I'm not going to dig too deep into that because I don't care about said person's opinions. Anyway, what I really appreciate about this
I would like to know who said person is, just saying.
episode is how everybody, after the storm, pitches in to save the forest, even though it looks like Henry has given up hope. And that generally is heartbreaking to see Henry like that. It makes you stop and think, what if we were in Henry's place at one point in our lives? And what if we lost something special to us?
Yeah.
And the music, very disheartening, as again, you really feel for Henry, and all we want is to see him happy again.
Oh, Henry!
This is truly a very beautiful.
Oh man, when I watched this, I just wanted to hug Henry and be like, it's okay, it's gonna be alright. I mean, that's just me. I don't know about anybody else, but to me, it was like I wanted to give Henry a hug.
Beautiful episode that really needs a lot more praise.
Music. My heart. Henry!
Number 5.
Okay, let's go.
Special Attraction.
Yay!
Another very uniquely styled story, I must say. Seeing as how it not only focuses on one engine, but 2 engines, that being Toby and Percy. Now, I could see why that would be confusing to some, because, well, through the first part of the episode, we just jump right into Toby's story with him being the special attraction in the parade, only for him to be denied. And then all of a sudden, we just jump right over into Percy's story with Bulstrode.
Well, yeah.
I'll admit it's a tad confusing, but it's still really enjoyable to sit through nonetheless. I think the best thing, though, about this episode is how George Carlin definitely does Bulstrode's voice. I'm in stitches every time I hear him do certain lines.
Come on. Why aren't you cars where you should be? Oh, I'm sinking.
As I said
I
before,
love Bulstrode's
while
voice.
this may be a tad confusing to some fans, and it probably could have been made into possible 2 stories, I still think it's pretty good for what it is, and it's by far my very favorite of Season 4.
It is a good one.
Number 4,
I can't wait
The
to see it.
Flying Kipper.
Oh!
How could this episode not be on anyone's top 20 list?
Well,
It's amazing! I will admit, Henry has kind of bounced.
I'll admit, when I saw Henry crash in this episode, I just was like, my heart, because Henry's another one of my favorite. Okay, I have a lot of favorite engines, but you feel bad for Henry and his accident. You feel bad.
Around from being a favorite to not being a favorite as the series progressed. But after watching this legendary classic time and time again, he definitely deserves a spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm amazed by the beautiful shots and wonderful music every single time I watch this episode. Especially the unforgettable flying kipper theme, which warms my heart every time.
Oh, yeah.
Even the crash, which is definitely the best we've seen on screen, still manages to give me goosebumps. This is definitely one of Henry's finest episodes that I will never stop watching. It is definitely a remarkable masterpiece of season 1.
Oh, yeah. It is.
Number 3,
I want to see what...
an engine of many colors.
Okay, that one, I'm surprised. This one, I'm surprised because not a lot of people liked this episode. A lot of people gave this episode so much hate. I personally liked it because I'll admit, how many of us wondered if James would be like in different colors? I mean, I kind of wonder what James would be like in green or blue or red or like yellow or anything like that. But a lot of this video, I remember this episode has gotten a lot of hate for it, and I don't know why, but it was like, I just remember it getting so much hate.
What? A Big Real Big Adventures episode in your top 20?
I don't blame you!
Yes. Well, let me explain. Personally, I think it's a very good continuation from where we kind of left off with the fastest red engine on Sodor and the shed for Edward. The way Michael White wrote the episode just gave me such a big throwback to the classic series, even if that was his given intention. But it just played out fabulously. I love seeing James in all the different colors, being that silver was my favorite one.
Yeah.
And I am glad that he did learn his lesson in the end.
I'm sorry, did that just say sexy? What? I don't know what to say to that. Moving on.
At least, I hope so. This is definitely one of the more tolerable episodes that we've received from Series 22, and I will gladly pick it over all the other crap ones we've gotten. And even though I have to feel a tiny bit bad for my boy...
Please don't hate me, but this is why I prefer the CGI series. Less, like, don't get me wrong, I love the narrations in the original, but I prefer the CGI because the characters talk themselves. I don't know why. In the original series, I didn't like that the characters couldn't talk themselves. I loved it when the characters could talk themselves. I liked it. Like, don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Like, tell me something else. Are we ever gonna see a crash as crazy as this ever again?
Probably not. Probably not.
Number 2.
Oh, I can't wait to see number 1.
Thomas's train.
Ooh.
Okay. Yes, I know the story is questionable. I get it. I understand that Thomas should have felt the weight of the coaches behind him at first, but I'm going to argue that I feel like Thomas was just excited, as per usual with his character, and he just wasn't being patient. That's something that we can expect from...
And raise your hand, how many of us have honestly been so excited we weren't patient? Come on. We all know we've done it. We've all done it where we've gotten excited about a certain task and we're patient enough and have messed up. If you haven't done that, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with you. Like, bravo, well done. But there's a lot of us out there who could say we've made this mistake as well.
From someone like Thomas. I don't know what it is, but somehow to me, watching him screw up, in a way, is kind of funny.
It is.
And I hate to throw this in there, but I'm going to anyway, because I don't care. I will admit that my heart does break for Thomas every time I do hear this line.
Poor Thomas was so sad he nearly cried.
Watching this back when I was a kid, being the basic bitch that I was, again, all I really cared for with this episode was just seeing my favorite blue tank engine on screen. I understand if there's a lot of you out there who don't particularly care for or even like this episode.
I love it at all.
That's fine. But in my case, it's still a real joy to watch to this very day.
Oh, it is. It is. So what's number 1?
Now, before I get to my number 1 favorite episode, let me just show you some honorable mentions that,
okay, let's see.
We're very, very close to making the list.
Okay, let's see. Ooh, okay. That one was a good one. I like that one. Okay, let me explain why I like that one. It's because I like how it showed the bond between Gordon Gordon and Thomas, how it showed they made their bond. This one I did not like as much. I thought Mavis was such a jerk in this one to Toby. I didn't like that one so much. Mavis was such a jerk. This one I thought was okay. I just didn't like that Percy got buried alive. This one was good. I like that one. That one was awesome. Here we go.
Now, my number one favorite Thomas episode is...
What is it?
Thomas, Percy, and the
Why am I not surprised?
This was another very common episode to run into.
This episode is so popular. I'm not surprised. This episode is very popular. Like, this episode is very popular.
Back in the day, and I'm glad it appeared on the many Thomas tapes I own because this episode is gorgeous.
Well, it is.
I love it to death. Any Thomas episode that happens at night is amazing to watch, but it doesn't come nearly as close to this. I just love how beautifully lit the sets are with the night and the sunrise scenes. And of course, Mike and Junior obviously outdid themselves with the post-train theme, and it has become my very favorite piece of Thomas music in the entire show. I could go on and on about how fantastic this episode is. It's just a very enjoyable and very beautiful story that has stuck by me for so long, and it will always be my number one favorite for the entirety of the Thomas and Friends series.
This one was a good one. I love this one. Thomas and Percy did a great job. What are some of your favorite episodes? Leave a comment below. I have to say my favorite episodes, a couple would have to be, you know what? I have to say Emily's Best Friend would have to be my number one favorite because I know what you're thinking, but Kiana, that's a recently new one. I know, but like I said, I prefer the CGI ones. I also, no, not Emily's Best Friend. It would be a tie between Emily's Best Friend and Emily in the Middle. Because Emily in the Middle, there's also Donald and Douglas and Emily working together. So, but if you guys would like to see a video of me showing my top 20 favorite Thomas and Friends episodes, let me know in the comments and I'll do it. And if you want me to do one of my least favorite, let me know. Like I said, I'll do it. And guys, again, I'm still working on the theories for Thomas and Friends. Like I said, I've been looking up online. I can't find a lot of the Thomas and Friends theories that people are telling me about. I just can't seem to find them. I'm going to keep looking for them. But yeah, so far the only one I can find is the smudger theory. So we'll wait and see what happens. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. This is Gabriel on Headed to One, signing out. Adios, everybody.